looking at you, you don't look like the quote-unquote powerlifter. How do you feel about that, and why did that? How does that affect you as a powerlifter?
For me, training primarily up to this point has had to do with how I want to look. So just like aesthetically, more so than strength. So for me, not looking like the stereotypical power lifter, I don't really feel a disadvantage, just because for me, just as important as gaining strength and being able to lift more, I don't feel the need to change my body type for that, because I feel like also for me, the body type I have and having low body fat and being, primarily muscle, I feel like that gives me an advantage over someone who might weigh the same, but their body composition is different. So I like the way that I am, and I don't feel that I'm really at a disadvantage at all, frankly. I don't feel, if anything, I feel like it's somewhat of an advantage.
I've been going to the same gym probably for 5 years. It's a college gym, and over those 5 or so years, I've been a member of multiple different groups and cliques of people that come and go in and out of the gym. And me being a power lifter myself, I run into people all the time that intend to power lift. And they always have some sort of a reason for not actually doing it. They want to get their squat numbers up, they want to get their deadlift numbers up, they want to, finish their degree, whatever. But I'd heard it all.
For me, therapy was really lifting as much weight as I can, as opposed to some people finding cardio as being a huge release or other things. And for me, it was like the one thing that slows everything in my life down, that when I'm doing it, I'm not thinking about anything else. And since I was already training in a way that was compatible with powerlifting, I decided to do something out of my comfort zone.
Sometime around the middle of 2018, I crossed paths with Isabel, and she, just like many people before her that I met before her, mentioned that she wanted to get into powerlifting, and I responded like I always respond: great, what can I do to help? You should try this competition, you should try this federation, so on and so forth. But in the back of my mind, I went, she's going to be just like everybody else. She's, for whatever reason, she's not going to do it. And I'll just move on to the next person, so on and so forth. And I'll be damned. Probably 2 or 3 days after, she told me that, I get a text message saying she'd signed up for this competition in North Canton. It was in about a month, and would I train her?
I was really nervous and really excited, but not at the same time. Like, I would flip-flop between the two, and I'd be super excited and then I'd get super nervous and very anxious.
I have 0 experience as a coach. I have theories, I know what I do, I know what works for me, but I told myself that if she actually was going to go through with it, I was going to do everything in my power to make sure that she was successful in it.
Just a lot of emotions, and kind of just wanting it to be the day, but at the same time questioning whether or not I was prepared to do it.
Saturday morning, you walk in the door at unrivaled strength at the day of the meet. Tell me how you felt.
Kind of overwhelmed. I was just so different from the kind of gym that I would typically train in. And when I saw that like the racks were different, I kind of freaked out a bit because I was like, oh, this is like different from like what I'm used to. And especially like seeing people walking around who clearly like knew what they were doing, kind of was like a little bit intimidating. It's definitely intimidated, and just kind of overwhelmed and confused.
The night before, talk to me about the weight the night before.
So I was originally going to compete. The intention was at 132.
If you want to just step around here, we'll get you weighed in.
I was a nervous wreck, and I'm an emotional eater. And so I kind of went on a bad binge the night before and gained about like 5 pounds overnight.
Whoa, that scale is
Unforgiving. So the whole 132 weight class didn't quite happen.
Okay, looks like about 7 or 8. Welcome to the Powerlifting family. You picked a good one to come to. Try to make this rules briefing as quick as possible. For you new lifters, after this meeting is over, throughout the day, if you have questions, come ask me or any one of my brothers, and we'll help you any way we can, okay, to make you feel comfortable. First lifter will be called to the platform in about 2 minutes. Spotters, loaders, get your positions, please.
So for this squat, was there an up command?
no.
So just whenever I think I hit that.
Yeah, when they say squat or start or whatever, you go down and come back up.
That's the only one that I don't have to wait.
Right.
That
you just go down.
I have to hold until they sit down.
Right.
And then I can also wait until they sit down.
Just like you practice it. Yep.
Okay.
So competition starts and it's time for your first squat. What's going through your mind?
Just nervous that I was the first day or the first lift of the day, like period. So I was like, okay, I don't even get to watch anyone. like when do I walk in? And I kind of hesitated, and I was just kind of wished I wasn't the first one. It had nothing to do with being like the lowest weight. It was more like, I can't believe like I've never done this before and I don't get to watch anyone do it. So I also was thinking a lot about like making depth, and I overshot it by like a foot and got stuck, and luckily it was my first squat attempt and it wasn't like a huge amount of weight. So I was able to get back up.
I went too low. I think I went lower.
Yeah, you went way low.
But it definitely kind of messed me up mentally because I was like, I went way too low.
You could go 132 or 137.
132. Second and third lifts come along after the depth issue on the first one. Tell me about those.
Isabel is our lifter.
It was good that I kind of messed up on the first one in terms of depth because it kind of gave me a better idea of like how low I needed to go for like the second and third attempt.
We got 132 pounds on the bar. Let's go now.
Yeah!
That's a good lift.
And I felt prepared. I wasn't nervous on the squats, which was kind of weird to me because that's not my strongest lift. But even on the third attempt, it was down and up and not really a huge problem.
Let's go here. Finish strong, girl.
Big belly for air. You got this. Come on home. Come on home. Come on, grind it. Yeah!
That's a good lift. Way to finish strong.
Let's talk about the bench press. Good, bad.
Isabel's our lifter. Lindsay on deck. Jeannie is in the hole, and Rhonda, you are 4 out. We got 77 pounds on the bar here.
Tell me what happened.
First one was super easy. It felt super light, which is what I was hoping for the first one. The goal for all 3 lifts was just to make sure that I would at least get the first attempt, so that I could move on and feel less pressure on the heavier lifts. And so that one was fine, and I was really ready to go for the other 2. And on the second attempt, I did well, but I thought I heard the ref say rack. And after watching the footage, actually, I still am watching his face, and anyways, but there's nothing I can do about that now. I'm still mad. But anyways, regardless, according to the ref, I did not wait to rack. So I didn't get that attempt.
You know, she was shaking up a lot because she missed that command. And I remember trying to get her to focus and saying, okay, you hit the lift. I need you right now to focus and tell me, how did it feel? We've lost that lift, whether the judge said rack or whether the judge didn't say rack. They're not going to replay it. This is what you have. But what I need you to do right now is tell me, do you feel like you can go heavier? And then we decided, knowing that if she didn't hit the 3rd lift, she would be stuck with the number from the 1st lift. But we rolled the dice and gambled on her having the strength to go heavier.
I was so revved up with adrenaline and too much caffeine, and I was just like really ready to go. I was going to hit a PR for my bench, and I didn't wait for the commands.
Like, out of all the ways to fuck up, I wish they could allow you like one So now mentally,
No, you're not.
How difficult was it to get over the drama and the disappointment from the bench press in preparation for the deadlift?
It was hard. I was really worried I wasn't going to even hit the first attempt at the deadlift, just because the whole thing that happened with the bench press really threw me off mentally. And I'm definitely one of those people who, more so than the physical struggle, it's almost harder for me to do something from a mental standpoint than like a physical one. But once I actually got up there and was going to deadlift, I was just smiling and just everything stopped. It's what I love to do. I hit the first one easily, and I was really excited about it, just to have that, in the books, and that definitely kind of got my mojo back, because I was like, okay.
Tell me about the second deadlift.
So, as I was waiting to go to the platform for the second deadlift, they announced the weight, and it was a few pounds, maybe even a little bit more than a few pounds, over what we had said for the deadlift weight. And I freaked out thinking that it was like a mistake.
No good.
I knew I wasn't gonna get it. I was just thinking, I wasn't thinking about the deadlift, I was thinking about the weight, and so I had no focus into the deadlift. All I was thinking was, what the hell happened?
How did you feel when you found out what actually happened?
Well, when I found out it was Coach Bray who decided to change the weight, I was really mad. and more so upset just because I was like, you know, I just failed my second one and was pretty convinced I wasn't going to get my third attempt. And I was just, since deadlift is my thing, I was really upset that I missed one of the attempts. I was like, this is what I'm good at, and I just failed one of those, and what if I failed the third? 'Cause it's like that was harder, like that would be harder for me to deal with than like failing on the squat or on the bench.
Hey, get behind us first. You missed it on the left 10.
You got it. Come on, Andy. Come on. Come on. Work it out, baby. Work it out. Yeah.
So going forward, what would you do differently?
Definitely before the next time I compete, I want to practice more of the commands. I don't really blame myself for messing that up. At least it was like my first competition, but definitely not the way I want to lose points. I'd rather lose points from not being able to do the lift than just for not listening. So that's a big thing that, you know, I want to work on and that I want to learn from. I would say probably that is the main thing.
Do you plan to continue to powerlift, to compete?
I definitely plan to continue to compete. It's definitely just, you know, maybe one of the few things that I truly am doing just for my own personal enjoyment. I grew up playing a lot of different sports and competing at a high level, and I identified myself as an athlete. And I haven't had that in several years, and to kind of feel like that is what I am again is really rewarding. It definitely has helped me with like my self-esteem and self-image, because it's like now what I identify as is an athlete and a powerlifter.